In scholarship on race, we tend to generalize and we treat white and whiteness as a monolithic category. And I argue that place matters, and what region has mattered more for shaping America's understanding of race than the South. My name is James Thomas. I go by JT. I'm an associate professor of sociology at the University of Mississippi. Broadly, I'm a scholar of race and racism. Most of the research that I do, the questions that I ask, have to do with how is race made over time and across space and place, and how is racism articulated across place and time and in specific contexts. This year at the Russell Sage Foundation, I'm working on a project that examines how white Southerners are making sense of themselves as white Southerners in this moment that we're living in. I think most of us social scientists who are interested in studying social problems and who study racial conflict and racism and racial inequalities, at the end of the day, we're interested in dismantling white supremacy. And at the same time, we have to acknowledge that our political system, our social system, is supported by a large group of people. We socially define them as white. And if we really want to grapple with white supremacy, and we really want to grapple with the system of advantages that privileges people socially defined as white, we have to actually deal with white people. We have to talk to white people. We have to understand how white people are making sense of themselves. And we have to take that role seriously. We're not seeing much movement in terms of reducing things like the racial wealth gap. There's this interesting period or moment we're in right now where criticisms of that system of advantage are proliferating. You see them in popular discourse, you see them in mainstream media, you see them in film and television and so forth. So this paradox that I'm trying to kind of get in or figure out is how in an era where criticisms of whiteness are as popular as they are, how are those advantages still able to remain enduring? A lot of the research on whiteness and white people in America tends to portray them kind of as in just one note. And that's especially true of white Southerners. Whiteness in the South is not one note. And I want to draw more attention to all of the ways that it's not. At the end of this year, I hope to have made significant progress on a book about what I'm tentatively calling whiteness in crisis. I'm really hoping that my time at the Russell Sage Foundation is going to allow me to write a book that, on the one hand, is well researched and firmly grounded in kind of the scholarly literature, but on the other hand, I want the book to speak to a really wide audience. I want anybody to be able to pick up my book and understand what the problem is, and also how we might approach that problem going forward. But to have the opportunity to be at the Russell Sage Foundation, surrounded by all of these other brilliant scholars, engaged in all of these interesting projects, the kinds of conversations that we have, just the entire intellectual environment here is just so enriching and enlivening